What makes a good resume? A good resume is a resume that can be found and a resume that tells your story in a very succinct way. That's what makes it good. Now, how do you do that? I can walk you through that process. That's what we're going to do right now. Stick with me. Before we get started, I need to ask you a favor. I would like to know the best career advice you've ever been given in the comments right below. Subscribe, hit like, that really helps me out. So let's talk about this. A good resume is made up of a few things. The first thing you've got to do is be relevant. The way that people find resumes, the way they search for resumes, and the way they come up in their systems is really important to understand. I happen to build those systems, so I can help you walk through what they're looking for and exactly what they do. Now, the starting point is your resume needs to be discoverable by that technology. What that means is the template that you use should be very simple. You shouldn't have columns in your templates. You shouldn't have the really cool formatting that people have with the boxes everywhere. You shouldn't have all your dates lined up just right in a separate column from your actual text. Don't do that. Everything should be one big column and should have no fancy formatting whatsoever. You can have bolds and things. I wouldn't even do underlines, honestly, other than underline as a text underline. The systems are not very smart. Many of them are terrible parsing engines, meaning the engine that has to look at your resume and pull out the information that the system is ultimately interested in using. They're terrible at it. So what I'll tell you is make it as simple for that system to read what you're trying to say as possible. Step one, don't get too fancy. Keep it basic with the template. I'm going to leave you a link here for my template. It'll be in the top comment and also in the description below. You'll be able to see what that template is. All right. Number two, put the most important information right up at the top. At the very top, I don't believe in an objective statement because I think when we're searching for a job, we all have the same objective, is to find a new job. We want to make more money. We want to find a better paycheck. We want to get away from our old boss. But the objective that we really have never plays well in the objective section. So I hate it where I work now and I need a new job. That doesn't ever cut it. Instead, put an executive summary. I would put executive summary at the very top of your resume. What you want to do is sum up what you want that person to know about you in a couple of sentences, maybe a small paragraph. And the reason you want to do that is they're going to be skimming your resume really fast. And you want to bring the most relevant information for that particular job that you're applying for up to the very front. So what makes a good resume? It's one that's discoverable and the one that tells your story in a very succinct way. The second thing to know is, do you put your education up front or do you put your experience up front? If you have more experience than you have time in school, you put your experience first. If you have less experience than you have time in school, you put the school first. So if you're brand new out of school, the thing that you have the most of is education. You put that up front and you talk about your education. Don't put your high school degree. I would leave out the education section completely unless someone's asked for it. If the maximum is a high school degree, you may want to bundle education with certificates and certifications or something in that case. You put your experience at the top if you've been in the workforce for a good long while. And your experience should start chronologically with the most recent job first. So it's reverse chronological order. Most recent job first, working your way backwards no more than 10 years. And then at the very bottom, you can say additional experience upon request. Make sure that inside of each piece of experience that you share, you want your company, you want the job title that you had, and then 3, maybe 4 bullets. Limit yourself. Be a good editor. Limit yourself and limit it to 3, maybe 4 bullets that say what you accomplished. You want action in there. Even better, measures of your action. Some advertising. Increase the number of applicants for our jobs 3-fold over a period of time. Or hired 1.5 times of our hiring goal for 6 years straight. Something like that. You want to have actionable information and you want to have measures anywhere you can. So you can put scores, measures. If you're a salesperson, it's super easy. Performance against quota is what you put in. So here's my target. Here's how I did. I slayed it. Let's keep going. That's how you lay that out on the page. All right. Very bottom section. The last thing that you put, skills. And skills, what I'll say is the skills in the objective section, that's actually where you do the most tailoring of your resume. So the skills section, you should take a look at all of the skills that are listed in the job description itself and list those skills in the skills section if you have those skills. Don't lie, but if you have those skills, you list it right there in that skills section. One good trick is to go to ChatGPT, have it read the job description and extract skills in a comma delimited format. And you can just paste it straight in and the system can read that. It can read skills divided by commas. So that's very helpful. You always want to put a comma between the skills to separate them so the system can read that in an easier way. I know it's silly to have to write things for a computer, but if the computer is the first gatekeeper, it's worth doing. All right. At the top, that objective statement, that's also a place where you can customize to the job description. When you read the job description, you get a feel for what they're looking for. And I would make sure that my executive summary at the very top aligns with what they're looking for in the job description itself. So like I said, executive summary at the top, skills at the bottom, best places for customization. Now, I believe in having one really long resume. The other term that people use for that is curriculum vitae. And outside of the US, CD is very common. CDs are typically much longer than a resume. Resumes, rule of thumb is 2 years. No one's actually looking at the thing printed. Nobody's printing resumes anymore. So you can get away with a little bit more. Nobody wants to read a novel. I had somebody give me a resume for a job I have opened that it was just packed, no white space. And the thing went on for like 4 pages. And I literally looked at this thing and I said, TLDR, like too long, didn't read. I'm not reading the thing. It's too much. It needs to be simple. It needs to be fast. I need to be able to skim it and read it. And what you want to avoid is somebody saying this thing and giving you the old TLDR toss. You don't want that, right? So keep it simple. You have one really long one though, and then you edit from there. You take the thing when people say, hey, you should customize your resume for the job. Yeah, absolutely do that. But it's not about adding a bunch of stuff, stuffing your resume with job stuff. No, it's about deleting things that nobody cares about so that the stuff that they do care about rises to the top and is more visible. That's what you're really doing when you're customizing to the resume. The other thing I tend to do is I look at the language they use. So say the job title is Code Ninja. And for some reason, they call all of their software developers Code Ninjas. Well, I might slip Code Ninja into one of the jobs. So where it says software developer, I might in parentheses say Code Ninja just to make sure they understand. By the way, when you do that, the matching algorithm says, oh man, this job title and this job title line up just right. We're going to put this guy at the top of the list. And when you get sorted by the machine, by relevancy, your name skyrockets to the top. So you want to be as relevant. When I say relevant, it means as similar to the job description as possible, because the way that resumes are presented to recruiters today is based on relevancy. The resume comes in and the system will look at the job description and will look at your resume, and the most relevant person will go to the top. By the way, this happens on Indeed too. Indeed is serving your resume to recruiters based on relevancy. So if there's a job you really want, you customize anything you have saved it with Indeed exactly that way. And guess how LinkedIn does it? LinkedIn does the same thing. When recruiters are searching, they are presenting results based on relevancy to the search. This is why relevancy is key. What makes a good resume? A good resume is a relevant resume, relevant to the search that recruiters make, relevant to the job that you're looking for. I hope you have the best of luck in your job search, and I'll see you the next time.